think it's starting.
Okay. Huh?
Just waiting for that blue thing to move. What's that crap? Alright.
Okay. A little bit of trouble getting started. Okay, this particular article is probably, if nothing else, it's more a promotion for our next online conference, which, before I start, is our alienancestry.net. I'm pretty sure that's right. Never to tell me if it wasn't. The article we've written is put up simply because we're talking about the prophecy, and I'm sure the people that are watching this now are aware of that. And all from the very beginning, the concept that the whole of this planet would change due to two distant planets getting in the same alignment and creating something has always been an issue. And I think from my point of view it's been an issue to an extent. Even after we put up photographs of different things that have happened that prove the actual prophecy did come to fruition, and we put some more up here. What I've always found a bit difficult was, how is it if you put two gas planets that are way out there, millions of k's away, how does it have an effect on other planets? And this article actually answers that question. And I'm pleased to say the people who aligned or allayed my fears about that was not a channeler, it wasn't a psychic, it was NASA. And the article is about the events that took place, physical events that took place throughout the solar system. And what I'm going to do is very briefly summarize what is in that article. And what we did was we started with the furthermost planet, which is Pluto. Although some people now have said, the experts have said it's not a planet anymore, but irrespective, we all know what it is and where it is. Maybe not exactly where, but an idea where it is. And what I wanted to share with you is what's happened to the planets near and far, and including the Sun, in and around that time. And what we found is something did actually happen. And very briefly, and it's in the article, it's not a large one, it's less than 2,000 words, which is unusual for me. We'll go through the planets. Now with Pluto, what needs to be understood is there's gas around each planet, different amounts of gas, and there are 4 gas planets, and Pluto's actually not a gas planet, but it has gas around it. Well, 80% of it's gone. And NASA doesn't know why, except it's not there anymore. Something made it go away. They're not sure what it was, but it just isn't there. Then you go to Neptune, and we put the picture up of Neptune. Neptune originally was a planet that had basically was one colour. Now, for reasons nobody understands, there are two eyes on Neptune that have just appeared. Now that could signify some sort of gas storm, which is quite possible. What's less understandable is the fact that it's spinning the wrong way. The two eyes are going in the opposite direction, but the planet is supposed to be rotating. Now, NASA will admit those two eyes are going the wrong way, which means really the planet's now going the wrong way. Now my question would be, what physical agent would create such a reaction of those two, that particular planet, so that two eyes appear and they're going the wrong way? So something has happened physically in both Neptune and Pluto. And then of course if you go to Saturn and Jupiter, they're in alignment. We know that, so that's done. Now if we come inland a bit more, well let's say closer to the Sun, you go to Mars. And there again, NASA has announced, and again they've given the same explanation, we don't know, that for reasons they don't understand, the axis of Mars tilted 4 inches. Now that might sound like a small amount. And if I was to push a wheelbarrow 4 inches, it's no big deal. But to push an entire planet and make it tilt 4 inches is a big deal. Something affected Mars. If you go in to the Sun, you will find that during and around that time was the largest amount of solar flares and solar winds that came out of the Sun. for quite some time. So they're starting to develop a pattern throughout the solar system of physical events occurring where on each occasion no explanation is given because none can be seen or understood. And then of course if you come to this planet, you will find, okay, yes, we've shown pictures of the Schumann resonance reverberating at 732. We've shown pictures of a film of the rock exploding in white energy. We've done that. What people may not be aware of is around the same time we had the two largest earthquakes on this planet ever measured. Now San Francisco in the early 1900s was decimated by an earthquake of 9 on the Richter scale. Chile had a 9.2 and it had the same reaction. It destroyed every building. But what people don't know, and it is true, you can check it, is we had two earthquakes, one of 9.6 and one of 9.7. And it wasn't on the Ring of Fire, it wasn't in Turkey, it wasn't even in Croatia where they had that massive earthquake after that golden light came down. It was in Antarctica. And it was 9.6 followed by 9.7. Now really the aftershock is not supposed to be greater than the first earthquake, but here it's reversed. And what we get from that is a pattern that you can see physical reactions that have taken place on the Sun on one side, Pluto on the other, Neptune, Mars, the Earth, and who knows for the other ones. We're not sure yet, but what we are finding is that those things happen in and around that time. And then you've got what happened actually at Uluru. You put that all together and that leads into the next conference we're going to do, and in that conference we're going to be giving about 10-12 photos. We put another one up today of a beam of light, a ray of light, not as deep and as vibrant as the one in Croatia, but it was still a column of light that came out of the sky into the earth, and that happened in Australia. And we were going to put two others up, but we're going to hold them up and put them up in the conference. So I'm asking people to join us in that conference for two things. Number one, for us to share with you more empirical evidence about what took place and give you a complete rundown from the very beginning all the way through to the day before the conference and what happened after, to give a full story and explain A, why it was that we never thought this was actually going to happen. So some of this is going to be in the negative, but most is in the positive. And B, why it is that there has been alien involvement here for quite some time leading up to the event, and proof of that in the past, as well as proof of that now in the present with the photos we've got. And then we lead into the rest of our presentation, which involves 2, maybe 3 elders. We're still having trouble finding one who's gone bush at the moment. We're hoping we're going to find him, but we've definitely got 2 for sure, and we'll probably have 3. And they'll be giving different takes on what comes next. Different takes on what we need to do to prepare ourselves and how we need to prepare ourselves and those around us. And we've got Barbara Randall, the wife of Bobby Randall, who was very instrumental in pushing this concept of Kanyini, which is identical to what Kana was on about with Urchin, Blackfella, Whitefella Dreaming, everyone coming together in one piece together at one time. Now we mentioned last time the Hopi prophecy that the hour has come and there's a fast-flowing river. We're now talking about being in that fast-flowing river, or what the Mayans call the 2 roads. We're talking about the fast-flowing river and the road to enlightenment. We want to talk about it and describe it and inspire people to become part of that. So that's what we'll be doing there. And then what we're doing is, because we're having ourselves and 3 other elders, or 2 or 3, all original, all male, we're finishing with 2 females. That's Sol Rita and Leah. And they're going to give their take from a psychic point of view, being women and non-original, a lovely balance of Kanyini and Wurchin, of what they experienced and their take of what is happening is what is about to happen. And this particular conference and the ones that follow is always going to be positive, except for a little bit of the beginning of the story there, because we want to explain why it was. we were telling everyone we don't really think this is going to happen. Well, we thought it probably wouldn't happen. I didn't say we didn't, but we had some major obstacles, and I wanted to share that with you to explain what people went through and what the people at the conference, they had a conference at the same time, the ceremony, but they weren't related, what they went through when they were trying to be part of this ceremony, because they had to fight some amazing obstacles too. So we're going to give a bit of a narrative for our story that leads into the future, and then the others will pick that up. I would invite you to join us in this one particularly, because the elders have got some very important things about how to prepare yourself, and I think you need to hear it. I know we've done quite a few of these, and we promise we continue. We've had a long break, and a lot of people have probably forgotten we were doing this, but we're back. And we would invite you to join us in that conference to basically find out, we will give you empirical evidence to make you, to satisfy the doubts that you might have harboured, that we harboured, about whether this would happen, to prove that it actually did happen, and then once we've done that, hand it over to others to show to you where we need to go next. So I sort of encourage you to join us with that. I'm not going to go any longer on this one today, because I think that's really what we wanted to talk about, the conference and the article, which gives you more evidence that something did happen. And this time we only referred to one authority here, NASA, the American Space Agency, to find out what was going on everywhere else, and the answer was a lot. And there's a lot more we're going to share with you over a period of time from others who are involved in that ceremony. And the ceremonies that will continue. I do encourage people, now you've done it once, do it again, simply because we know it works. And with that, I'll say goodbye this time, and encourage you to join us with this this particular presentation. I think in some respects it's going to be quite amazing, simply because, well, it did happen. That part we can prove to you. Now it's a matter of what you do next. So I'd invite you to join us in that fast-flowing river, or on that road. I'm not even sure I'm on it yet, but at least we know roughly where it is, and we know what the ticket of admission is and what the price of admission is, and we'll talk about that also. So hopefully I'll see you on this Sunday. We'll be on, I think it's, I'll just repeat it, I think it's called OurAlienAncestry.net, and then you can listen to what the elders have got to say, and the photographs that have come in, and what our two resident psychics have got to say, and maybe that will help you get your head around these times, because lo and behold, if you look around, the world is now splitting up into two groups. Just as the prophecy said, it is now dividing into two. Those that follow and those that strike out. And let me close with a comment the Hoppy made about the change which they know is here. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen, we are the ones we've been waiting for.